The chase, the mask moves against him. Up here, the silence lies to you. Says you're the only one left. But clouds don't swirl without wind. And dread always moves before the storm. Far above the world's noise, ego and success sit watching not as allies, but as judges. Draped in gold, warmed by fire, they say nothing. But everything in them waits to see if he folds. Success sets his glass down like a signal. Ego moves the broken king not to win, but to declare. Whatever comes next, he must face it alone. The board no longer matters. The game is now survival.
You built your path with truth. I build mine with what they want to see. This time, you'll wear what they expect. This time, no one will see who you are.
Even miles away, power shifts like pressure. The hearth knows it first. Then ego rises, not in anger, but in response. His form bends, his coat breathes, reality adjusts. Something in his soul stirs. The masks scream, smile, weep, and whisper 1,000 performances begging to be believed. But the dreamer walks untouched. Her steps do not pause. For she knows, illusions only win when you forget. She walks like a queen of what's broken. Each step drops a lie dressed as beauty. Petals that vanish, faces that smile too long. Even the air hums like it's been fooled. And yet, this feels designed. He still thinks the bridge is his. That walking means progress. But even forward can be a trap if the path was built by someone else. Ego's detached wisdom struck a chord, igniting ego in the mask. The mask was never still, until now. Its surface freezes like decision taking shape. Golden light flickers across metal lies. What was once fluid becomes fixed. And in that stillness, danger lurks. Success and ego have come to a decision that only those on the journey can attest to, and that's experiencing ego being a mentor, as well as success, along their journey like FEE-NOM. She built this chamber to control perception, a cathedral of distortion. But even in her design, she feels it. The shift. Ego and success have moved, and that was not part of her script. Ego doesn't ride, he soars. Cloak flaring, eyes locked. Even the clouds can't hold shape around him. He's not chasing comfort. He's hunting what threatens the dream. They land without announcement. No trumpets, no welcome. Just eyes, masked faces frozen, mid-smile, curious or cautious. The world of masks watches them now. Who knows what's about to happen next? I thought walking meant I was moving forward. But here, the street loops behind me. The faces follow. The cars whisper. Even the clouds feel staged in this world of masks. And almost as if mediocrity felt the ripple, he responded. Not with words, but with a meeting. An army of administrators within the world of masks stood at attention as the light of mediocrity glowed. The trap wasn't a wall. It was a moment, timed perfectly. FEE-NOM stood without ego, without success. Even his breath felt borrowed. And that's when mediocrity appeared, with a way out that felt easy. But just before the lie could land, ego moved. No words, just presence. The kind that reminds you who you were before the offer. And FEE-NOM was pulled back from the edge. The intervention both amused her and insulted her. With a flick of her fingers, a ripple moves through the fog, a message sent to comfort her most devout. Let's see how he fares against ease. The message didn't stop with comfort. It reached the court of mediocrity, carried by breathless silence and trembling protocol. One whisper, and a courtier. She's been summoned. Mediocrity offered peace, not purpose. Rest, without recovery. A place to stop, dressed up as a reward. But the version of me they praise isn't alive. It isn't complete. It isn't success. And as if the lie had gone on just long enough, success moved, cutting through the illusion and flying towards FEE-NOM. Not to pull him, but to remind him, success is near. He's still dreaming, still moving. They never told me it could look like this. Comfort then reaches out her hand in her way of power and begins to insert her nature into FEE-NOM's mind. Mediocrity doesn't chase. He dispatches. And so the breach opens, and the lupine general steps through. His presence slices through the applause, providing contentment in the atmosphere. He tried to outrun the noise, tried to rise above the game. But even the strongest can slip, when silence starts to sound like truth. Now the mask whispers again only inches from his face, while ego and success opens the case. Tools built for the weight he chose to carry. Sigils hum, gauntlets glow. The armor isn't for show. It's for the kind of battle the world pretends doesn't exist. Ego doesn't look at the man. He looks through the mask, into the ego behind it. That's his gift. And in mediocrity, he sees it. The fracture. Comfort isn't aligned. She moves without his permission. It wore my face, echoed my winds, reflected back everything I thought I wanted to be. But it felt too perfect, too easy. Wanted to vanquish me. I fire the laser of love at the masks of mediocrity. They don't sprint. They don't stagger. Just two silhouettes walking like they've been here before. As even the fog steps back, ego, now balanced, walks with FEE-NOM. But he suddenly moved through the unseen to success who's responding to a portal. No words pass between them. Just instinct. The portal shifts. That portal wasn't just a summons. It was a judgment. And from it my yacht stepped through sovereign. No armor, no threat. Just truth wrapped in form. She stood beside FEE-NOM. Statement made. The applause was thunder. The lights, perfect. And on stage, a version of FEE-NOM that never questions, smiled. He didn't speak, he didn't blink, but the illusion behind him sought the attention. The dream sky cracked like prophecy, but this wasn't just a show of force. Ego had seen the tremor. My yacht had come through, yes, but something else seemed to have followed. Lady Hopeless did not follow. Her throne followed. A moving tower of cracked porcelain faces, and every one of them had once dreamed. Masks fell. Beneath her, a city rose, not built, remembered. The world of masks had its orders, and the world obeyed. Illusion wasn't decoration here. It was law. Streets bent toward comfort. Everyone wore a face that wasn't theirs. The mask drifted toward him, slow, smooth, certain, and with every inch, it changed. It wore his face, a version of him without burden, without fire. But most dangerous masks are the ones that look like relief. But for once, FEE-NOM wasn't fooled, because real relief had names. Ego. Success. They didn't protect him from pain. No, they prepared him. Only the chosen sit at her table. The devoted. Comfort. Mediocrity. The ones who don't just serve despair. General Lupare hopes to one day have a seat amongst the devoted. Mediocrity already has given the indication that General Lupare could indeed get an invite to the table if he can stop the force that is FEE-NOM. But my yacht firmly responds to Lady Hopeless.
Sister, still dressing control as care, still whispering chains into the ears of the weary. You send masks to do the work truth was born for, but I am not moved by illusion, and now neither is he.
You mistake truth for timing, sister. You speak of freedom while standing in flame, so poetic, but you forget even fire burns out. And when it does, they always crawl back to the warmth I offer. Not because it's true, but because it's easier. You carry a sword like it's sacred. But I don't need blades, sister. I only need time. Because even the strongest will trade truth for comfort, if I make the wait long enough.
My yacht did not send warning or command. She sent a feather light, burning gold at the edges. A feather of resolve. It drifted through dimensions, untouched by illusion until it reached him. Lady Hopeless smiled, and then unraveled. Hair lifted like smoke underwater, twisting in impossible directions. Faces flickered across her skin, weeping, grinning, silent. It cracked without sound. Light spilled out, and in that rupture, FEE-NOM jumped not in fear, not in joy, but in something stranger. Suspended glee, the moment between knowing and becoming. The golden glow dims not fully, just enough to expose the wires. And in that flicker, suspended glee became something sharper, that being FEE-NOM's awareness. And as the system flickered, so did his patience. Mediocrity moved, not rushed, but threaded. Through a crowded square of believers, applause still ringing in their ears. Her limbs stretch wrong. Her laugh echoes backward. Hair slams across the walls like living thread. She isn't angry. She's evolving. A journeyman along the path of dreams watches the power of the world of masks. He would later become an acolyte in the house of mediocrity, where deep in the woods of regret, trees lean like memories. You could have been. At least you tried. Maybe next time. Every root whispers what someone once gave up, to become the wood. Mediocrity takes a moment. He does not bow before it, but he does glance just once, a reminder of who shaped him, of what he serves. The statue smiles with the ease of a king who knows no worth. The mediocre king denizens wears the insignia of the fallen, the cloak of those who abandoned the climb and chose control over courage. The goal is to trap dreamers with their own masks, so that they fall into a delicious rhythm of hopelessness and despair. But we all are tasked with taking up our own issues and challenges, and develop individual self-mastery. The way is always lit with celestial activity. They watched from the shadows, masks of doubt, envy, praise, and fear. But he stood alone on that bridge, not waiting, not asking, just flexing. Because when you know who you are, the masks flinch, not you. Rooted in the crucible of the journey, ego once foe, but in FEE-NOM has balanced successfully on the scales of my yacht, now a powerful mentor and advocate to success. Now, ego and success walk the mass streets together, no longer watching but moving. For FEE-NOM, they step on his behalf, not as saviors, but as reminders. He skated across silence, then ran on the impossible. Not to prove he could, but to remind the world why it ever dreamed of more. Lady Hopeless does not chase. She doesn't rage. She waits. But her reflection, her shadow, that moves when she must not. The mirror rose first, because her will never truly sits. You break mirrors and call it strength. But I hold what cannot be shattered. Come, sister, let truth walk beside fire, where truth walks beside fire. Success rises not to boast, but to bear witness. She's not Comfort. She's the assassin they named Comfort, and I just let her in. And she's already watching. It always comes back to this bridge. The bridge of life. Not to walk it, but to decide if I still will. Oh, he thinks he's past it now? They all do. Right before they beg to wear the crown. Comfort will soon arrive. In her massive ship that can hold worlds, called the Cradle. But in the meantime, even if for a brief spell, the citizens of the world of masks felt the relief only the game can give. The art of basketball. She was never chasing. She was waiting, and now she's ready to move.
strike serve. Perfect! Lightning, strike serve. Oh, sorry, my fault. My fault. But even in your gather, your feet was exquisite. Exquisite. Move without the ball. Move without, again, you didn't get it. Back. Boom. Move without the ball. They sleeping. They ain't used to this game. Move. It's your weapon. Huh. Again. Come to me. Now back out. Here you go. Free throws, King. You heard that.